And we are taking you live to Perth now for an update on this cyclone in Western Australia, Tropical Cyclone Zelia. This is the Department of Fire and Emergency Services in Perth.
Very destructive core of the system, the area around the eye of the cyclone, is impacting that coast, as I said, to the east of Port Hedland now, bringing very destructive wind gusts up to 290 kilometres per hour and intense rainfall and flooding. Port Hedland is not expected to be impacted by the very destructive eye wall winds, but damaging to destructive wind gusts are still likely this afternoon and into this evening. On the eastern side of the tropical cyclone track, a dangerous storm surge is possible, which could cause flash flooding of coastal areas. However, the storm surge risk in line with the movement of the cyclone is greatly reduced for the Port Hedland area. This system is producing very heavy rainfall, with rainfall totals expected to be 200 to 300 millimetres over the next 24 hours, with 3-day totals up to 500 millimetres possible. We have already recorded totals over 300 millimetres. This heavy rainfall, falling on already wet catchments, is likely to result in flash and riverine flooding. Flood watch and warning areas extend from the Gascoyne and through the Pilbara regions, with flood warnings already current for the De Grey and Pilbara coastal rivers. As the system continues to move south, it will weaken and winds will ease. Although damaging winds are expected close to the path of the cyclone as it moves all the way through the interior towards Tom Price and Paraburdoo. And these winds are expected to continue through to Saturday in those areas. This is a very dangerous system that will cause those significant impacts and are causing those impacts as we speak. We urge people in the Pilbara to stay informed to the latest advice from the Bureau and Emergency WA and heed the advice from emergency services for both the tropical cyclone and the flood warnings. Thanks. I'll hand over to the Commissioner now.
Thanks, Matt. So good afternoon. With Cyclone Zelia crossing the Pilbara coast, our emergency services focus shifts to dealing with the impacts of the destructive weather from this system. We're ready to deal with the aftermath of the cyclone, which will pack 290 km/h winds and dump more than 500 millimetres of rain through the Pilbara. It is critical that impacted communities don't get complacent because the hazards won't ease once the cyclone has passed. Conditions after a cyclone can be just as dangerous as the cyclone itself, including damaged buildings, fallen power lines and debris. It is extremely important that people remain indoors until the warnings change on Emergency WA. Download the Emergency WA app or monitor Emergency WA to stay up to date, and warnings will also be broadcast on ABC radio. If your home is badly damaged and you can't safely fix it yourself, you can call the SES for emergency assistance on 132 500. If the matter is life-threatening, you should ring 000. DFS has already received 37 calls for assistance across the Pilbara over the last 2 days.